Well, it's good to Lethal and today we're going to the manga with better fights than Jujustu Kaisen. And he's talking about Sakamoto Days. Bro, Sakamoto Days, bro. I cannot wait for the anime to come out. Bro, the fight scenes in the manga, they're like so neat and clean. How they bro, it's a top. In my opinion, it's definitely I can't say that, but it's a very good new gen anime, in my opinion.
Everyone loves
Very
a
good, very
well-executed
good
fight
new
in
gen
anime
anime.
and manga. Some of the community's collective favorite moments in the medium come from fights, and the ability to depict movement and strategy in a visually engaging, interesting, and coherent way.
Also, sponsored by Broken Ronin. Ronin. I will leave the video link down below. And yeah, that's how I'm saying
Is
it.
a skill that seems to be very appreciated amongst manga fans. Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Punch Man, Hajime no Ippo, and numerous other series get loads of praise and credit for their ability to depict action in manga, and rightfully so. Of the series that are known for their amazing fight choreography, Jujutsu Kaisen is probably one of the most recent. I myself have made mention of the series' enjoyable fights in the
Fighting is
past
so
on my
crazy in the
channel,
show.
and regardless of your opinion on the manga itself, the
You
quality of the
jumping,
fights
bro.
are rarely
You
called
so
into
funny, man.
question, leading many to think that JJK has the best choreography in any ongoing manga. But what if I told you that there existed a series that surpassed Jujutsu Kaisen in this way? What if I told you about a little known manga called Sakamoto Days, a series that I think has better fights than Jujutsu Kaisen?
I agree with you. I'm not gonna lie. The fights are so amazing in this
Sakamoto
show.
Days is an ongoing manga in Weekly Shonen Jump that follows the story of Taro Sakamoto, a hitman turned store owner after he retired from his job for the sake of love and starting a family. The plot starts rather simple and small in scope before expanding and branching out into stories and subplots following the many interesting
and the art style is it's like so like neat. It's like you understand like everything that's going on, and like some mangas that I be reading, it's kind of hard for me to get what's happening in fights sometimes. But in this, it's like
the series.
it's like
The
so
manga,
easy to
especially
get.
early on, takes on a generally lighthearted tone, juggling comedic and slice of life chapters to flesh out the
The person
characters
who made this
and
is very
connect the
talented.
audience to them. And while the action and fighting was always a major part of the series, as the story progressed further and further, the fights became more and more prominent, and more importantly, they became better and better. In the beginning of the manga, the choreography and general art quality was amazing, allowing for the eye to track movement across the page easily and fluidly, keeping the pacing of the fight consistently fun to read. The clarity was also high in spite of this fact, which just amplified how well these fights read. The only thing holding early Sakamoto Days back fight-wise was the scope, scale, and ambition of the fights in the beginning of the series. Being small scale isn't and wasn't a bad thing in general, though, simply because it's clear now that the manga was intended.
This old man, bro, this old man is so cold, bro. Oh my gosh, bro, this old man is so cold. I don't want to spoil nobody, but bro,
an insane feat
this old man is a demon.
pull off. But in those early fights, I gotta say that it was simply great, which seems like a huge compliment, and it is. But I think I can say with how some of the series' most recent fights have been drawn, I can say that the manga is stepped into a realm that lies beyond basic greatness. Visually, these fights are starting to border on perfection. The creativity in the environment.
When was this made? Oh, this was made yesterday. Oh yeah.
That they
This
fight
definitely
in, the
probably
variety
have
of different weapons and fighting styles, the
spoilers.
strategy and forethought demonstrated, and obviously just the clarity of the dynamic actions that every character makes lead to these fights being something that looks unreal. There aren't too many manga, new or old, that I think master the art of action and fighting as well as Sakamoto Days does, and I think this manga deserves all of the praise in the world for that. Now, while Sakamoto Days does an absolutely amazing job of depicting its fights, especially in the visual departments, I don't want to pretend that there are absolutely no series that can compare. When it's at its peak, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the few series that can stand on even footing with Sakamoto Days right now. Yuji vs. Shoso is an absolute feast for the eyes in many of the same ways that Sakamoto Days fights typically are, and I think when you get down to comparing both of these series at their peak, I can't really decide which one I like more. They both rival each other in just about every metric that I care about in regards to a fight's visual appeal, with the only major difference being the style in which they accomplish this. Jujutsu Kaisen sacrifices some level of clarity and traditional artistic cleanliness for the sake of exaggerating the power and speed behind each blow to the maximum. And Sakamoto,
that's what I like meant, because like, look, this just looks like a whole bunch of like, it's like blobs on the screen. You feel me? It's like kind of hard to like understand it.
For the sake of exaggerating the power
But
and speed behind each
the
blow
other
to the
one is
maximum.
very
And
clean.
Sakamoto Days keeps a clean and clear
Very
perspective
clean.
while toning down on too much exaggeration in exchange for a more consistent, clean look.
It's like if I was to draw my own manga and have fight scenes in it, I would definitely take a lot of inspiration from
Jujutsu Kaisen is never so messy that it becomes indiscernible, at least for me. And Sakamoto Days clearly has weight and speed in its art when it's necessary, but I do think that these artists differ in what they specialize in to get the amazing results that they do. Neither one of these styles are intrinsically better than the other, but with approaches that result in such different outcomes, it makes complete sense that lines in the sand are going to be drawn. Many think that when Jujutsu Kaisen is at its best, no manga out right now can compete, which is a fair take. Many think that Sakamoto Days is the best manga when it comes to choreographing fights right now, and to me, that is also fair.
Wait,
both of the best right in the sand are going to be drawn. Many think that when Jujutsu Kaisen is at its best, no manga out right now can compete, which
in terms of fight or in terms of like story, because in fights, I don't know.
Is a fair take. Many think that Sakamoto Days is the best manga when it comes to choreographing fights right now, and to me, that is also fair. Both of these series are so excellent at these aspects that picking one over the other isn't really all that crazy to me. But as the title of the video suggests, and as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I think that Sakamoto Days has better fights than Jujutsu Kaisen. So why is that? Well, for starters, I think that Sakamoto Days, as of right now, looks better than JJK has, fight-wise at least, for quite a while. If you are particularly perceptive of the way I've been describing things in this video, you may have noticed that every time I compared Sakamoto Days and Jujutsu Kaisen in a favorable way to JJK, I always said that JJK at its best compares to Sakamoto Days, and I did that for a reason. I simply think that JJK's best fights visually exist in both the Star Plasma Vessel and Shibuya incident arc. But after Gege's massive style overhaul after the Zenin massacre, I can't say that I've been as big of a fan as I used to in terms of fight choreography. And in stark comparison, Sakamoto Days, a manga which already had an extremely solid base level of fight quality, has only gotten better with time, continuously getting crazier and crazier with each coming fight, getting experimental, the art quality just going up, and the choreography just getting crazier and crazier. So when looked at from a consistency,
I feel like for the anime to come out, but when the anime comes out, I don't know who's going to be the ones to animate it. I hope it's not Mappa, because they already got too much stuff. You feel me? So I want it to be something else. But if it is Mappa, I know that they will do a very great job. But they need a break. I ain't gonna lie. They got like 6 or 7 animes this year. Mappa's going crazy.
I gotta say, I think Sakamoto Days is a superior work fighting-wise. This is not to disparage current JJK in any capacity, as I still think it looks great and is great, but peak Jujutsu Kaisen and current Sakamoto Days aren't just great. They are exceptional, basically peerless in any of the manga that I have read that have been released in the past several years. I've even gone on record saying that Jujutsu Kaisen specifically is a top 5 to top 10 series when it comes to depicting action and manga, and I stand by that. I just think
of all time or just new gen? If it's just
now
new gen,
is something
I think that's a valid statement, but all time's kind of crazy.
that is slightly beyond what JJK is at right now. Sakamoto Days, in my mind, is a really underappreciated work in Weekly Shonen Jump. So if you aren't reading it now, but are impressed by what
I
you've
don't
seen
hear
in
nothing
this video,
about this
or simply like the idea of a manga that does straight hands super well, I recommend you give Sakamoto Days a shot. Not only is it great in the action department, but it's a decently funny manga with characters that are really compelling and fun to follow. Sakamoto is a very easily likable protagonist, and the hitman cast that forms around him ranges from super weird and eccentric all the way to being some of the coolest characters out.
And there are so many, and like all the assassins, all of them each are dogs too, bro. They can all fight like bro, bro.
In Weekly Shonen Jump.
I don't want to spoil it too
the
much,
quality of the
but
characters and the investment that you'll inevitably gain from watching their stories play out will only make the
But it's
already
definitely top tier.
excellent fights in Sakamoto Days that much better. So if you made it to this point in the video, I can basically guarantee you will like this series a lot. If you guys ended up enjoying this video and want to see more Sakamoto Days content from me, subscribe, hit the bell, and let me know down in the comments that you want more of this series. I'd love to talk about it in the future. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next.
Yes, bro. We can love this manga. I cannot wait for the anime. I don't know when the anime come out, but I cannot wait for it, bro. I love Sakamoto Days so much. Hope it gets an anime sometime soon. If I was to guess, I'm sure that they'll probably announce it and do like a trailer this year and probably have it. It might come out this fall, maybe. Or haven't they made a teaser trailer? I'm pretty sure they made a teaser trailer for it. So it may come out this year, but more than likely it's gonna come out next year. You feel me? They got too much stuff coming out this year already. I feel like so. More than likely it's gonna come out in 2024. But yeah, I freaking love this. Bro, it's a top tier manga, bro. And yeah, I'll leave a video link down below. Shout out to Broken Ronin, you feel me? And yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And have a blessed day. Peace.
Then she gon' pull out the tape and tie me up, then lock me away. That bitch, she said that she hate me. I am not faced, my niggas waiting at your place. For all this shit escalate, I need to know how many niggas you've played. How did you take off your tape? She looking right at me and she swerves into the lake.